Namaste and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology Debunking Mythology. Sattology means science of truth or study of truth. Opposite to that is mythology, which means science or study of fake lie or imagination. If you are in San Diego, August 24, 25, do come to the International Literature Festival. It's going to be very big, very well organized by many of our supporters of Sattology. So if you're in US, do come to San Diego, beautiful San Diego, most beautiful city in the US. I have a very special guest today, and you love him, and you have been hearing from him. आपका इस शो में बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. Let us welcome Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha so that we can learn from him. Namaste and welcome to the show, sir.
Namaskar, good evening, good morning, and thank you, Adiji, for getting me on your program. It's always a pleasure. Particularly, the question and answers are really interesting, and that really tears me apart and puts my brain on what is called, on notice that you have to use it. So go ahead, go ahead.
First of all, very nice of you. Very grateful to you for coming on the show again. I know you have a busy schedule. So one question really comes to the mind कि ये आईएनएस ब्रह्मपुत्र में ऐसा क्या हुआ कि शिप ही डूब गया? I heard your video interviews to other people.
Adiji's the first thing that no, the ship is not sunk, so it is lying on its side. In that much of water, it can't sink to start with. So alongside. What happens is that the ships are very vulnerable to fire when they are under refit. So that ship was under refit. When you say refit, it means various parts of the ship do their maintenance. There'll be welding. There'll be is fair extensive work, and I think it's about. I think it was down for more than 3 months of refit. And what they do is they take out most of the removable weight, and they also take out all the ammunition. They will take out all the fuel, the gas, so that it is much lighter because when the ship has to be dry docked, when it is taken out of the water on the slipway, then it has to be completely empty, and it is down to its bare bone, as they call it. Okay. So Brahmaputra was of the same state, and she had just come out from the dry docking, and she was put alongside. Alongside means it's alongside a jetty, alongside a pier, and the work was going on. Now, apparently, during the dockyard workers who come and work, there was a fire in one of the compartments, which was obviously to the in the left half of the ship, as we call it, on the port side. Port is left. So there was a fire, and the firefighting began by the emergency party, but the fire didn't come under control. It just carried on spreading, so much so that the fire tenders, the fire extinguishers, if you like, huge vehicles, they come from dockyard fire station, and they started throwing water on the ship, and the hatches were opened through which the water could enter the compartment where the fire was, and the fire got doused. Fire was under control, but the ship began to tilt, and it tilted to the left, as you can see. So she's resting on her left side, and you can see some part of the fin at the back is out of water. The water is certainly not enough for the entire ship to sink, but even then it wouldn't have sunk because she's actually resting on the. You can't see the rear portion and middle portion. She's resting on her side, on the ship side. As you can see, the fire was quite extensive, and therefore 2-3 fire tenders were put into action into the ship, and you can see that the fire also coming out through the hangars. Hangar door was slightly open, so it's a major fire. Now, why the fire happened? Now, I would say that not to absolve the duty people from their task, because in the refit, the most important task of the ship's company is the firefighting. Right? They are supposed to be alert, and all the firefighting hand firefighting appliances, and the bigger firefighting arrangement in the ship, they are all supposed to be operated by the crew who are the ship's crew. But why did fire happen? Let them find out. In all probability, the dockyard workers who come for work, they are people from the civil side, so they're not very particular in following the rules and regulations. That is why the naval personnel have to be there. It is quite possible that some welding, something was happening, and that fire, it caught some combustible material. Why was the combustible material there? It should not be there. All the rag pieces, all the clothes, and everything is removed. But it is quite possible that some part of the skin of the ship, maybe it was soft and it caught fire and it spread. And firefighting was being done by the people on the ship. As you know, that one of our sailors also, we lost life of one of the sailors.
Yes, yes, yes.
And, yeah, we lost him. Very sad. And now there are two, three things. As to why the fire has taken place, one of the reasons could be this. Why it spread so quickly? Maybe there was more combustible material than there should have been. That is why the board of inquiry is going on right now. I'm sure they will find out. The inquiry is being headed by an officer of the rank of rear admiral, so they will do a perfect job. Not that others don't, but rear admirals more experienced, so they will put their mind into more things.
Our homage to Satyendra Singh Sankla is a
Yeah, yeah,
seaman.
yeah.
Salute to him for his bravery and being there.
So one of the reasons that I can think of, again, it's a very wild guess, not something which I know. I'm sitting in Delhi, as you know. When the fire tenders come and start throwing water, they don't know where is the water going. They only the whole aim is to extinguish the fire, and it is quite possible because fire was on the left side, on the port side of the ship, and all the hatches were opened so that the water could go inside to extinguish the fire, right? So if the water content inside the compartments becomes large and you have a ship which is virtually empty, now if I showed you that ship is standing this way, the center of gravity of the ship is somewhere here. When you have more weight, the center of gravity shifts towards the weight, which is downwards. Okay. And the free height from center of gravity to the top of the mast, it is called the metacentric height. So if the center of gravity is further below because of normal weight, then the metacentric height is quite a lot and the ship is more stable. But if the ship is light, then the center of gravity is not at the normal position here, it will be slightly up because it's light, hardly any weight. Now you can see that the metacentric height has become less, meaning that if there's any force which tilts it to one side, the counter forces will be only this much. Whereas in the earlier case, the counter forces would have been so much. So the stability is better when the ship is fully laden. And as the weight takes taken out, then the metacentric height becomes less. And I would imagine that should one side the water content in the ship has become more because of the fire extinguisher, and there are huge fire extinguishers, they're like fire tenders, what you see in the city. So those are the kind of fire tenders which are in the dockyard to douse the fire. So it would have probably gone, and the weight would have become sufficiently to tilt her some distance, and not enough correcting moment because of the reduced metacentric height. The ship lost its natural stability for it to bring it back. Otherwise, the ships have a natural ability. Now, ships are quite heavy. It's about 6,000, 5,000, 6,000 tons. So once it goes to one side, it'll be nigh impossible for any human being, any force, when the engines are shut, everything is down. By the time you get the, you know, tugs, etc., it's late. It's late. But things are happening very rapidly. So the ship is tilted to one side, and it's a sad thing. No ship, no commanding officer wants his ship to see lying on the ship side. But I'm sure that the inquiry will be done. They will be done. It is being done. They will learn the lessons, and the ship will be out. It will be perfect. There's no problem. I think it's about my own experience tells me that about 4 months on the outer side. In 4 months, she will be seagoing. They will have to put some cranes and tugs and make her straight first, and keep the tugs tied up and take out all the weights from the one particular side if there are any weights, and get the ship into even keel, and then start doing the repair, because she's resting on the side. It may have broken some parts. Mind you, the ships don't sink without because of fire. Never. Ships sink because of flooding,
Mm.
right? So the water which has gone in, it is quite possible that some of the compartments have got flooded so much that it has gone beyond the natural stability of the ship. I would put it that way. Why it has happened, what should have been done, those things, these competent people, engineers, we have architect engineers. The Navy has its own design engineers, so it's indigenously designed, indigenously built frigate, anti-submarine and anti-aircraft frigate. Very capable ship, and it has got BrahMos missile, surface to surface. It has got the surface to air,
Barak missile also it has got.
yeah, surface to air Barak missiles, which are very capable, very accurate. It's an Israeli missile. But now the advanced, sorry, the advanced version we, sorry, we make it ourselves now in collaboration with the. So that is where we are. It's a sad state, but we
So
lost our.
for the viewers, tell me one thing, like how does it, मतलब भारत में, I'll ask in Hindi so many people can understand also. भारत में भी प्रधानमंत्री ने भी बोला, जयशंकर जी ने भी बोला, next 5 years very grim situation, सबने बोला, external situation is not good. तो आज क्या challenges होंगे भारत के लिए with this one ship, because one ship means a lot. But I'm seeing the global conflicts and American Navy deployment. One ship is itself a whole, like one ship can do many things, very powerful. और आपने पिछली बार बताया था कि one ship can control 30-40 square kilometers easily. So
देखिए Adi ji, let me first talk about the geopolitics around India. Uh, there is turbulence or some kind of turbulence in every country in the neighborhood, right? You got Myanmar on the boil, Bangladesh, you know what has happened now. You know Sri Lanka, what has happened, how the president was thrown out, how they have run into a debt trap, and now there is going to be election. Maldives, the influence of China is quite a lot. Pakistan, you are aware. Nepal, may again, there are two governments have changed in last 6 months, two prime ministers, and again the influence of the Communist Party of China is quite a lot. Bhutan is facing trouble because China is pressurizing it to give out some of its territory, saying that it is historically ours. So we are, to be honest, we are dealing with very multifarious the turbulence of the geopolitical turbulence. You see what is happening in the Red Sea. Houthis are continuing to attack the uh, commercial ships which are passing through the Red Sea, and Indian Navy is deployed almost in full number. So you are looking at the challenges, the military challenges, the stability. It's not a sound, stable, and peaceful region at all at the moment. And India stands tall. India is the biggest country, largest country, most powerful, economically most advanced. But This next 5 years, we are aiming, the country is aiming, the Prime Minister is aiming to take the economy, the GDP from from right now it is 3.4, 3.6, 3.7, I think, trillion dollars, to take it to $5 trillion. So if that is required, then we have to be doing a lot of manufacturing. We have to increase our export. We also have to get, as far as defense sector is concerned, to get as आत्मनिर्भर जिसको बोलते हैं, सेल्फ रिलायंट. काफ़ी चीज़ें शुरू हो गई हैं, शुरू हो रही हैं. और हमारा इंटरनल सिचुएशन भी, regrettably, the internal squabble amongst the political parties doesn't help the government in power. You know, there are differences, but unfortunately those differences can become a very major uh, political differences with countries outside with whom we have good relation. For example, the US. For example, the EU. So there are outside forces working, uh, some from the country that you live in, and uh, you know in fact, the point is that not many countries want to see India progressing, becoming more prosperous, because they are worried about that what will happen in future. Will India, become head on with the US or with the EU? I remember in one of the shows you had asked me this question, आदि जी, आपने ये प्रश्न मुझसे पूछा था. तो मैंने उस समय आपसे कहा था कि ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है. दो डेमोक्रेसीज हैं, एक दूसरे के बड़े. अभी 10 दिन पहले ही स्टेट डिपार्टमेंट ने ये कहा है that US India relationship is most consequential for the 21st century. So this
Eh,
is not an empty statement. It is a statement with a lot of weight.
ये
उनका ये कहना था.
अमेरिकन तो खुद ही ट्रस्ट नहीं करते हैं
That
इंडियन
is true.
क्यों स्टेट डिपार्टमेंट.
I agree. I agree. I'm agreeing. But what is a displayed demonstration? It appears that the we are unlikely to be counted in enemy. I will put it that way. And the transfer of technology, the jet engine manufacturing is just going to start now. 80% is transfer of technology. With the French, we are going ahead and having the Safran engine. Our export of the defense manufactured items in India has increased. It has crossed 27,000 crores, which is a good news. And GDP growth rate right now, by all accounts, whether you go to IMF, World Bank projection, or so many organizations, the projection is that it will remain the fastest growing economy in the world for near foreseeable future, at least for 2 3 years. So we need that growth rate. Now, if we have money, अगर हमारे पास पैसे हैं, अगर ये 5 ट्रिलियन की इकोनॉमी हो जाती है, तो हम और भी बहुत कुछ कर पाएंगे. हमारी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बहुत तेज हो जाएगी. तो उसको बहुत सारे देश नहीं देखना चाहते हैं सर, कि भारतवर्ष की इकोनॉमी $5 ट्रिलियन हो जाए और भारतवर्ष अपना टर्म डिक्टेट करने लगे. अभी 4 भी नहीं पहुंचा है, तो ऑलरेडी भारतवर्ष का आप देखते हैं कैसे कैसे स्टेटमेंट्स बनते हैं यहाँ पे. हम अपनी स्ट्रेटेजिक ऑटोनॉमी, अब ये जो है, श्री गारसेटी यहाँ के जो आपके एम्बेसडर हैं, उन्होंने ओपनली कहा है कि when it comes to geopolitics and warfare, this क्या बोलते हैं आपको, strategic autonomy doesn't work, you have to take sides. So that was a very serious statement to make, and we presume that ambassadors don't make statements without clearance from the State Department. So we would believe that this is the State Department diktat which the ambassador is speaking, which is a very serious statement to me. तो मैं कहूँगा कि ये तो चैलेंज है, many countries not wanting to see India reaching that level, and many countries aiding, or people in those countries, some very influential people aiding the opposition parties to create problems. And there are enough proof with the government. It's not that they're talking through the head. I mean, I'll take the name. George Soros is spending a lot of money in on the Congress party and the other people. We have Sam Pitorda. These are the people who are spending money. ये लोग पैसे खर्च कर रहे हैं. क्या भारतवर्ष की प्रोग्रेस को किसी तरह रोको, मोदी को हटाओ। मोदी हटाओ इज देयर primary objective. The reason, because he has banned all the corruption which was going on, and the previous governments were up to their neck in corruption. So उनको जो बोलते हैं ना, उनका राशन पानी बंद हो गया है। तो राशन पानी बंद हो गया तो opposition parties don't know what to do. There is court case, ED case on everybody. They say that मोदी उनको ED को लगा रहा है. I am sorry, the ED does not get after people till the money trail is established from
Exactly.
their account to the bank and to the supplier.
Exactly.
ED doesn't go like that. In fact, it is nice of Modi ji, otherwise most of them would have been in jail. Most of them. All big leaders, I don't wish to name. So this is the situation that Modi Sahib was saying, that we have to stay together, collective, so that you don't get carried away. The problem is not that. The problem is there are many members of parliament, member of legislative assembly who have a case running on them. Case of murder, rape, this thing, that thing, theft. Now we should be able to make a law by which any case like this should bar a person from fighting an election. But there is no consensus, because every political party has has a skeleton in their own cupboard. तो ये जो है, एक तरह से आप समझिए कि the the I would say that uh, the bad elements of the society are getting a patronage from political parties, because most of them have penetrated the politics. So we have this problem, and I personally, I for one believe that this Prime Minister Modi only can handle this. He's a tough man. He demands perfection. He demands that there should be. We haven't had touchwood 10 years in power. In 10 years, previous government had so many scams, and all proven. People, ministers have gone to jail in the past. So he has to handle his internal issues with a lot of firm hand, and he also has to handle this external issue with very finesse. It's a very diplomatic tightrope walk. For example, though we know a lot as to why Bangladesh has happened, but it'll be very difficult for officially to make that statement. There is enough proof. Madam Sheikh Hasina has made a public statement as to why she has been removed, and loose ends, the loopholes, we are aware, and we have enough proof. Now, then you got your think tanks who keep fingering. If President Modi hugs Putin, he says this is a strategic miscalculation. I just couldn't hold myself, and I wrote back. I said that you have very little idea of international relations. This is the
So,
manner in which an Indian displays his warmth for anyone, right? Even if he meets Pakistan Prime Minister, he will hug him. You take my word. वसुधैव कुटुंबकम हम बोलते हैं, ऐसे नहीं बोलते हैं. अगर हगिंग करने से तुमको लगेगा कि स्ट्रेटेजिक मिसकैलकुलेशन है, सॉरी, it means that you are a bloody armchair strategist. You are not a practicing strategist, right?
yeah,
I just mentioned that today.
आपको America very well. You've been to many times as a officially Indian Navy representative. अमेरिका की गवर्नमेंट के बारे में तो अमेरिकन को भी मालूम नहीं है आज के समय में. मोस्ट ऑफ द अमेरिकन आर इनोसेंट एक तरीके से, क्योंकि उनको पता ही नहीं उनका स्टेट डिपार्टमेंट क्या करता है.
I agree.
Unlike इंडिया में every citizen knows what their state department, external affairs ministry does. भारत का केस अलग है, और भारत एक राष्ट्र है. भारत की बुनियाद बहुत पुरानी है, वेदों पुराणों से चल रही है. अमेरिका की बुनियाद 250 साल की है, लेकिन आज भी कॉलोनाइजेशन खत्म नहीं हुआ है. तो अमेरिका को एंग्लो सैक्सन कॉलोनी ही मान के चले. उसमें से आप मुझे बता दीजिए कौन एंग्लो सैक्सन विचारधारा का नहीं है. सभी है। हमारे शो पे तो कितने नेटिव अमेरिकन चीफ्स आ चुके हैं। आज ही एक का गया है वीडियो लाइव सुबह, और वो लोग तो बोलते हैं उनको गवर्नमेंट से कोई मतलब ही नहीं है। वो तो गवर्नमेंट की एड नहीं लेना चाहते हैं, बोलते हैं हमारे देश की एड हमको भीख क्यों मिलेगी, हमारे ही देश है। दे आर डूइंग लाइक दैट। तो अमेरिका का इंटरनल सिचुएशन तो, अमेरिकन एंग्लो सैक्सन एक अलग ब्रीड है जो रूल करती है इस देश, इस नेशन को, और वही फॉरेन पॉलिसी चलाती है। लेकिन रेगुलर अमेरिकन को कोई कनेक्शन ही नहीं है, उनको पता ही नहीं क्या चल रहा है दुनिया में, उनकी गवर्नमेंट क्या क्या कर रही है। बिकॉज यहाँ पे स्पोर्ट्स, ये रोमन स्ट्रेटेजी है, स्पोर्ट्स और उनको लाइक खाने पीने के लिए लॉट ऑफ डिस्टर्बेंस नाउ, इकोनॉमिक डिस्टर्बेंसेस। तो लोगों को 2-3 जॉब्स दे हैव टू डू, स्पोर्ट्स और इन सब चीज़ों से एंगेज करके रखा हुआ है। इट्स टोटली डिफरेंट सोसाइटी इन अ वे। मेरा इसमें एक क्वेश्चन आता है, जैसे अभी ओवैसी साहब जो है मिलते हैं कंसलेट जनरल एस हैदराबाद में, और सबको मालूम है कि ये सारे ऑफिसर्स जो हैं अमेरिकन एजेंसीज को बिलोंग करते हैं, सीक्रेट एजेंसीज को, इंक्लूडिंग एरिक गारसेटी, नेवल इंटेलिजेंस में था वो। सो डोंट यू थिंक ये सिक्योरिटी रिस्क भी है इंडियन नेवी के लिए और इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के लिए?
देखिए, जहाँ तक हमारी आर्म फोर्सेस हैं या सिक्योरिटी एजेंसीज हैं, और हमारी इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसीज हैं, they are reasonably okay. They, I won't say that they are Mossad or they are CIA, but they aren't bad. And we have a very good integration of all these agencies, what is called the MAC, the multi-agency uh, something, multi-agency MSC. तो मल्टी एजेंसी जो है, इनकी जो ऑपरेशन है, ये ऑन अ डेली बेसिस दे आर मीटिंग. We have a fairly good national security advisor who is hardcore intelligence man. He is from the intelligence bureau in RAW, uh, and you all know in America. The problem is not that. The problem is that America and India can be compared only up to some level. America is a fully advanced country. India is still a developing country. America's GDP is 23, 24 trillion dollars. India has not even reached $4 trillion, whereas America's population is half of that of India, possibly. So, we have many problems within the country, and to handle that, you require a politician जो कि भारतवर्ष की
वन
कमजोरियों को
फोर्थ है,
समझता
वन फोर्थ है, वन फोर्थ है पॉपुलेशन।
है। तो वो भारतवर्ष की कमजोरियों को समझता है। एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर है, एजुकेशन है, हेल्थ केयर है। आप देख लीजिए, हमारा इकोनॉमी चाहे कितनी भी हो जाए, हमारा HDI काफी नीचे है, ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट इंडेक्स. दैट मीन्स दैट पीपल डज नॉट हैव दैट लेवल ऑफ what is called the book education. Mentally, they are very educated, as you rightly say. They are politically very wise. They don't make mistakes. You see what happened in the election. BJP nearly lost. The prime minister has won by such low margin. He was expected to cross margin of 6-7 lakh votes. Well, here is a huge country, you see, and very difficult to get everybody on one track. That is why opposition parties make a difference in country building, whereas they are hell bent on destroying this country. Here, the government is fighting on two fronts. One is external, one is this internal. As you said, you talked about one of our politicians going and meeting there. Of course, we are very. In fact, we also know what talk has taken place. It's not that our guys are they are keeping track of everybody, who's going where, what is he doing, etc., etc. It is required. Otherwise, in a country like India, it's very difficult to survive.
आपने ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट इंडेक्स का बात किया, आपने इकोनॉमी का साइज का बात किया। यूएस करेंसी रिजर्व करेंसी है और उनका बजट मिलिट्री का है अराउंड $800 ट्रिलियन, $800 ट्रिलियन। लेकिन अमेरिकन नेवल सेलर्स को, जो कि भारतीय नेवल 2.5 लाख लोग हैं टोटल, नेवल सेलर्स को डेंटल इंश्योरेंस नहीं है, दे हैव नो मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस आउटसाइड द शिप। बहुत सारे ऐसा इश्यूज हैं जो रेगुलरली प्ले करते हैं, जिसको अमेरिका छुपाता है। देयर आर 12 मिलियन अमेरिकन जिनको पीने का पानी नहीं है। आई हैव रिकॉर्डेड इट, आई हैव वीडियो रिकॉर्डेड इट। 12 मिलियन उनको पीने का पानी नहीं है, गंदा पानी है। मीन इफ यू कंसिडर द परसेंटेज ऑफ पॉपुलेशन, 350 मिलियन में से 12 मिलियन, इट्स अ बिग परसेंटेज। वो इक्वल टू इंडिया ही आता है जाके, फिर एंड में जाके, कि 1% ऑफ इंडिया ऑल्सो डजंट हैव द सेम प्रॉब्लम, एंड 1% ऑफ अमेरिका ऑल्सो हैज द सेम प्रॉब्लम। और बहुत सारा चीज़ें हैं जो सोशल, क्या होता है कि भारतीय सोशल इंटीग्रेशन मीडिया में आ जाता है, इंडियन मीडिया राइट्स ओपनली। अमेरिकन सोशल मीडिया में अमेरिकन लाइफ के बारे में बिल्कुल भी नहीं आता, बिकॉज देर इज ए पॉलिटिकल इशू ही नहीं है कि पानी नहीं है यहाँ पे, बिजली नहीं है, भोजन नहीं है, स्कूल्स नहीं है, पोस्ट ऑफिस नहीं है। 12 मिलियन अमेरिकन के लिए नहीं है। रोड्स नहीं है, ट्रेन्स नहीं है, ट्रेन्स तो है ही नहीं, बिकॉज दे डोंट यूज द ट्रेन्स फॉर पैसेंजर। अगर आपको एलए भी जाना हो सैन डिएगो से 4 घंटे 5 घंटे बैठना पड़ेगा ट्रेन में, विच इज इम्प्रैक्टिकल फॉर एनीबॉडी। और शिकागो के लिए कोई ट्रेन नहीं। सो आई एम सेइंग मेनी थिंग्स आर नॉट known but not spoken about in other countries. और आपने एक और थोड़ा बताया, तो यू एजुकेट अस कि हाउ डू वी कंपेयर, क्योंकि इंडेक्सेस तो अभी हमको पता लग गया है कि इंडेक्सेस आर ऑल फेक, क्योंकि हर जगह का ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट पैटर्न ही डिफरेंट है। अब भारतीय सोसाइटी इज बिल्ट ऑन कर्म, देयर सोसाइटी इज बिल्ट ऑन प्रोवाइडर एंटाइटलमेंट, जो टोटली अलग सोसाइटीज है। हाउ डू यू से सो? जापानीज और भारतीय सोसाइटी में बहुत सिमिलरिटी है बाय द वे।
देखिए आदि जी, ये बड़ा एक गहरा प्रश्न है जिसका उत्तर जो है उतना आसान नहीं है, लेकिन मैं कोशिश करूंगा। देखिए सबसे बड़ी चीज़ ये है कि चूंकि एक थोड़ा सा हल्का सा करेक्शन करूंगा, अमेरिका का डिफेंस बजट $800 बिलियन है, नॉट ट्रिलियन।
बिलियन डॉलर, सॉरी,
हाँ,
बिलियन डॉलर।
बिकॉज ट्रिलियन तो आपकी
यस यस,
योर जीडीपी
सॉरी
इज
अबाउट दैट।
ओके। सो यू नो हमारी जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, बिकॉज आर पर कैपिटा इनकम इज वेरी लो एंड वी टेंड टू कंटेन आवर सेल्फ, कहते हैं ताती पाँव पसारिए जाती लंबी सौ, meaning that you spread your leg only as big as the sheet that you're covering with. Otherwise, your feet will get out. So, what we do is that we try and contain our expenditure in that money, and that money should be enough for you to buy your necessary things and run your family. Meaning that अगर आप आपके दो बच्चे हैं, आप उनको पढ़ा सकें, आपको खाना मिले, आपको किसी तरह की एक मेडिकल फैसिलिटी मिले, इन द प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट्स टाइम काफ़ी उसमें सुधार हुआ है। पॉवर्टी लाइन को डिसाइड कर डिक्लेयर किया गया है, और जो लोग बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन हैं उनको उनके बैंक अकाउंट में ज़ीरो बैलेंस बैंक अकाउंट किया गया है, और उनको सरकार पैसे देती है कुछ कुछ दिनों पर, उनको सरकार कुछ कुछ राशन देती है, पूरा नहीं थोड़ा देती है, और उनको 5 लाख रुपए की मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस है सबके पास जो नहीं अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं। तो दे ऑल हैव इंश्योरेंस कवर ऑफ 5 लाख रुपीज विच कैन बी refilled in case required, but that can see through either a cardiac surgery or can see a onco treatment in a reasonable time frame, which is the two of the most dangerous one. Because हमारा रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ थ्रेशोल्ड काफ़ी नीचे है, इसीलिए हम इस पैसे से काम चला सकते हैं। वेयर इज द लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड, you start getting dole or social security if you got, let us say, less than $3,500, let us say, per month, you're considered poor. Here your annual income as per the per capita income itself is $2,800 per year, and you're talking about $3,500 per month. So that is the level of difference of standard of living, normal living. Yes, what you said is right. I have also reported that there are 12 million children who go hungry in the US. There are 10 million people around New York who don't get You don't have a place to sleep. Yes, but these things don't find any mention because political issues or human issues are not an issue in America because by and large everybody is well to do. By and large everybody has those basic things. Whereas in India, it sees the it comes to the in front बहुत जल्दी आ जाता है क्योंकि उसकी कमी को ही सरकारें पूरा करने में भी लगी हुई है ताकि हम एक डिसेंट लाइफ दे सकें हर नागरिक को। तो अभी उनको देखिए एजुकेशन सम लेवल तक फ्री हो गया है, मेडिकल फ्री हो गया है कुछ लेवल तक, और उसके बियॉन्ड 5 लाख का एक इंश्योरेंस है। और देखिए कि ट्रेन में जाना हो चाहे कहीं भी जाना हो तो देयर इज लॉट ऑफ कंसेशन गिवन टू वेरियस सेक्शंस ऑफ सोसाइटी। तो ये सब जो रोजमर्रा की चीजें हैं, पीने का पानी, हर घर पीने का पानी लगाने का, more than 18-20 crore houses have been connected with water supply. Electricity, now we have surplus, we supply to Bangladesh, we give it to other countries, now neighboring countries. So we have moved. Our ports were not good enough to handle so much of cargo. So we have got this Sagarmala project. All the roads have been done. Now we have a freight corridor of trains. Only goods train run in that, and they carry hell of a lot of containers. So it is India is a country in motion. ये प्रोग्रेस की जो मोशन है वो अभी चल रही है, तो हम तो उसको अमेरिका से कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते हैं क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ जो एब्सोल्यूट नंबर्स हैं वो इतने ज़्यादा हैं। तो आप ये जरूर कहेंगे कि 10% है 12% है, फाइन, बट आपका 12% और हमारा 12% देखिए ना, it's a massive, the absolute numbers are phenomenal different. So here the government is handling problems of that magnitude, है ना, और उसके लिए जो पैसे चाहिए हमारे पास उतने पैसे नहीं है। Whereas in the US there is money, but it is not being spent in the proper manner. It is not being spent in the social security that much, which should be done. Otherwise, people who are making money, they are making money. So अब जैसे आपको जो तनख्वाह मिलती है जो होती है, in about 20% of your money that you earn, you can look after your khana pina. 25%, 20%. In India, lot of houses 70 to 80% money is spent on food and your rozmarra ki cheezein. Okay, that is the difference. Now here, saving money to buy a house is a lifetime ambition, right? Whereas it's not a big deal in US. You save money, take mortgage, you have reasonable interest rate if you take from the developer's company. It is more if you take it from the bank. It will come down. I think you're due for 2 reductions, which is bound to happen. So I would say that the per capita income does have a impact on the living standards and comparison. मैं तो ये कहूँगा कि इकोनॉमिक स्थिति ये होने के बावजूद जो हमारी डिफेंस कैपेबिलिटी है, that is many times higher. We are a much stronger militarily, particularly the Navy. I had mentioned to you last time, I think we are 4th or 5th in the world. In Indian Ocean, there is no other country which has this kind of naval power except for the US. लेकिन US का वर्ल्ड वाइड रिक्वायरमेंट है और उनकी ये जो स्ट्रेच हो गई है, that is why even one ship makes a difference. They have a problem क्योंकि उनके कमिटमेंट्स बहुत ज्यादा हैं, and America wants to remain the world's number 1 power. It doesn't want China to replace it, and rightly so. And that is how you got this alliance है, partnership है, Quad है, Malabar है, AUKUS है। ये इसलिए कर रहे हैं ताकि हमें ऐसा ना हो कि ये जो सिंगल पार्टी ऑटोक्रेटिक सिस्टम उन 3-4 देशों के अलावा और भी कई देशों में हो जाए, उसका खतरा है। उसका खतरा है और हमारे नेबरहुड में बहुत ही खतरा है। आप म्यांमार ले लीजिए, थाईलैंड इज ऑल्सो शेकी, साउथ ईस्ट एशिया ले लीजिए, नेपाल में देख लीजिए कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी इन पावर, श्रीलंका में देख लीजिए। अगर आपको इतना ज़्यादा डेट हो जाए कि आपको अपना पोर्ट देना पड़े, अपना एयरपोर्ट देना पड़े उनको यूज करने के लिए, तो आपकी सॉवरेनिटी तो चली गई ना. Slowly you will say कि sorry, you can't have this multi-party system because you are not able to manage. Have one policy for 10 years. How does a democracy have one policy for 10 years? Every administration policy changes. So is the case in India. Democracies cannot progress very quickly. But yes, we have chosen democracy because it gives you freedom of speech, it's liberty, which is more dear to us. We don't mind living in a little bit of less sort of income and less assets, but certainly we would like to voice our opinion. We would like to rub shoulders with advanced countries in the world because we are very hardworking people. We are very committed people. Nobody sits on the backside just like that. No, certainly not the armed forces. Even now, as I talk, Adiji, I can tell you about 60% or 70% of the navy is deployed in all around the Indian Ocean. Nobody, I repeat with great conviction, no ship, submarine, or aircraft can enter the Indian Ocean without the knowledge of Indian Navy. It will. So we have built those systems. Our friends have helped. US has been very helpful. Japan has been very helpful. Quad has been a big help. Russia in its own time was very big help. And now we have FTA with Australia. We will have FTA with UK. With Germany, we have had very good equation. And I believe that now the Germans and Indian shipyard are making a joint venture submarine, diesel submarine. So we are there. But for having a stronger defense, you require money. And to protect your economy, you require defense. So these are two sides of the same coin. And if Mr. Modi is walking in that with all these not only external problems that we talked about, but domestic issues, development, opposition parties, and people not wanting to neighboring countries, and more people inside who are being instigated to create problems, etc., etc. तो ये प्रॉब्लम्स तो रहेंगी जब तक हमारी 5 ट्रिलियन नहीं होती इकोनॉमी. हमारे पास वो एक्स्ट्रा पैसे नहीं होंगे जिसमें कि हम कंफर्ट्स को खरीद सकें कंट्री के लिए. अभी भी है, अब तो काफी काफी पिछले 10 साल में तो इतनी प्रगति हुई आदि जी, पता नहीं आप कब आए भारत. आप आके
I
देखेंगे, आप
come
मालूम
every year.
जाएंगे.
I come 2 years. I get shocked. मैं भी था
आप
3 महीने पहले.
आप देखें अभी सड़क जो है, रोड कनेक्टिविटी इज मार्वेलस. Any road, you go, even roads in the villages, you see water, you see electricity, you see toilets, you see agriculture. Now these are the areas where the human development index is going to increase. You see schools. तो ये हम कर रहे हैं. अभी अभी आपने देखा है कि हमारे यहाँ the Indian Penal Code and Indian Criminal Code, they have all been revised. Lot of rules which were made most of them were made in British time. तो उन्होंने तो भारतवर्ष के ऊपर अपना जमाव रखने के लिए नियम बनाए थे. अब हम वो नहीं करते. अब पहले उसको इंडियन पीनल कोड कहते थे, मतलब पनिशमेंट कोड. अब उसको भारतीय न्याय संहिता कहते हैं कि आप जो है उनको न्याय देने के लिए उनको वॉइस दे रहे हैं. A lot of rules have been changed, and rule has not been changed by the party in power. They had a committee of Supreme Court judges, High Court judges, lawyers, senior police guys, and learned people from the academy. For last 2 years they've been preparing. That's why आज कोई भी वकील, कोई भी जज ये नहीं कह रहा है कि ये अच्छा नहीं है, because they all been party to it. किसी ने नहीं बोला है. ये कौन बोल रहा है? ऑपोजिशन पार्टी. क्यों? उनके जूते बहुत पड़ने वाले हैं. आपने इतने दिन कुकांड किए हैं, वो कभी ना कभी तो पकड़े जाओगे. नहीं पकड़े गए हो, तुम अपनी किस्मत को अच्छा समझो. ये समझो कि ये गवर्नमेंट जो तुम्हारे ऊपर एक एक तुमको दे रखी है, लाइफ दे रखा है उन्होंने. दे हैव बीन नाइस टू यू. ये मेरा मानना है. तो मैं कहूँगा कि हमें अमेरिका से कंपैरिजन करना नहीं. फायर पावर, मिलिट्री पावर, we can supplement, we can complement American power in the Indian Ocean or Indo-Pacific, but we cannot say that we can take Australia. No, it will not happen. We have no qualms about this, that any country which is more powerful economically, by and large, should be more powerful militarily, by and large, because you can buy. Look at China. The economy is 5 times more than India, and I bet they have more fighting machines than we have. But what we believe that men behind machine actually matters a lot. हमारे पास combat experience सबके पास है every day. China doesn't have that combat experience. तो वो लड़ाई के टाइम में कैसा उनका, ये ठीक है, पीस टाइम में ब्लॉकेट कर दिया ताइवान का, कोई ऑपोजिशन नहीं है, आई एम फाइटिंग दिस, आई एम डूइंग दिस, इट्स ओके. कल को ऑपोजिशन हो जाएगा ना, उनके एक आध जहाज को भी लग गया, दे डोंट नो हाउ टू हैंडल इट. ठीक है. और
एक
उनका एक
क्वेश्चन
और
आया
प्रॉब्लम,
इसी पर आया है कि somebody is predicting कि China will attack India on the West Sea, maybe Bay of Bengal
देखिए
next year December. ये से
देखिए ऐसा है, ये होने के लिए कुछ भी हो सकता है, लेकिन अब देखिए उनका प्रभाव कहाँ बढ़ रहा था, बे ऑफ बंगाल की तरफ, म्यांमार, थोड़ा सा बांग्लादेश. ये दोनों ही देश जो है अभी काफी टर्मोइल से गुजर रहे हैं. और मुझे लगता है कि अगर अगर वेस्टर्न पावर्स बांग्लादेश के नजदीक आकर बैठ जाए तो उससे एक फायदा तो जरूर होगा. ये जो ऑटोक्रेसी की जो टेंटिकल्स बढ़ती हुई आ रही थी बांग्लादेश के, म्यांमार के थ्रू बे ऑफ बंगाल में, उस पर कहीं ना कहीं अंकुश लग जाएगा. ये मैंने आज ट्वीट भी किया है, और आज मैंने स्वतंत्रता दिवस के उपलक्ष्य में किसी किसी चैनल पे मैंने अपनी भावना बताई है कि आप जो कह लें, अगर अमेरिका वहाँ प्रभाव डालने के स्तर पे है, अगर सोच रहा है तो जरूर करना चाहिए. अब जो हो गया है, लेकिन उनका प्रभाव वहाँ होने से चीन की हिम्मत नहीं होगी कि वो बांग्लादेश और म्यांमार का रूट चुने, क्योंकि अगर ये सत्य है कि सेंट मार्टिन आइलैंड में कोई उनका बेस बनेगा तो वो सितवे पोर्ट के ठीक बाहर है, और सितवे में one full jetty belongs to India and one jetty belongs to China. सितवे का ओवरऑल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हमें मिला ऑपरेशन का, भारतवर्ष का. तो ये ये इसका जियो पॉलिटिकल इम्प्लीकेशन बांग्लादेश का ये है. अगर नहीं भी है तो मैं तो कहूँगा कि अमेरिका को इसके बारे में ध्यान से सोचना चाहिए कि अगर उनको इंडो पैसिफिक में, बे ऑफ बंगाल में चीन का प्रभाव कम करना है तो उनको वहां पर बैठना आवश्यक है. क्योंकि अब देखिए, श्रीलंका ऑलरेडी हाथ से निकल चुका है, मालदीव्स करीब करीब हाथ से निकल गया है, पाकिस्तान तो हाथ में कभी था ही नहीं, वो तो आपका उल्लू बना के पैसे ले रहा है, नेपाल में वही हो रहा है, म्यांमार में वही हो रहा है, बांग्लादेश में वही हो जाता. तो ये जो है इंडो पैसिफिक की सुरक्षा और फ्री एंड ओपन सी के लिए बहुत बुरी खबर है. और अमेरिका के यहाँ आने से ये जरूर है कि चीन जो है उसको वो नोटिस पर हो जाएगा. हाँ, हमें जरूर अलर्ट रहना पड़ेगा कि कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि लोगों का ध्यान भारतवर्ष के ऊपर आ जाए. तो उसके लिए वही हमने कहा कि इट हैज़ टू बी ए वेरी टाइट रोप वॉक इन डिप्लोमेसी एंड पॉलिटिकल अक्यूमेंट ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. And I'm sure they are thinking about it. I'm sure they are working on this, and they will positively make sure that their equation with US does not alter. Prime Minister Modi is going to New York. I hope you know this.
Yes, September.
Yeah, I think 22nd or he's going to see, and he's been invited to make a public address. And good thing is that about India, there is a bipartisan support in the Congress. No matter who's in power, the India's necessity of being a big partner of US, both ways, for America and also for India, it is important. And there are two biggest and oldest democracies in the world. You can say what you like, but it has got in principle एक जुड़ने का एक बहुत बड़ा कारण है वो. ये
एक मैक्सिकन
पॉलिटिशियन की बात समझते हैं, उनको पता है कि क्यों हक करता है जाके उसको, और ये भी जानते हैं डज नॉट इफेक्ट द फॉरेन पॉलिसी ऑफ अ कंट्री। ये हमारे जैसे लोग टेबल कुर्सी पे बैठ के लिख देते हैं, वो दूसरी बात है, बट दैट इज नॉट सो वेयर इट मैटर्स। अभी आप क्या देखिए, अभी इलेक्शन आ रहा है, आई डोंट नो व्हाट्स गोइंग टू हैपन, हाउ इट इज टर्न आउट, बट आई एम क्वाइट कॉन्फिडेंट दैट whether it is Republicans or there are Dems, I think India's equation is completely bipartisan. India's necessity has been identified by both the parties, and during both the terms, they have given overwhelming support to India. Make India strong has been the word by both Republicans and by Democrats.
अमेरिकन कांग्रेस का नेचर वर्किंग, मैं तो बहुत सालों से इधर हूँ और मैं इन लोगों के साथ बहुत इंटरेक्ट करता हूँ। मेरी बुक्स कांग्रेशनल लाइब्रेरी में है, सारी बुक्स। सो एंड वाइट हाउस लाइब्रेरी में भी हैं। तो मैं बहुत बार, काफ़ी प्रेसिडेंट्स के टेन्योर में मैं वाइट हाउस, मुझे बुलाया गया है, मैं जाता रहता हूँ। यहाँ पे जो कांग्रेशनल पॉलिटिक्स है उससे इनकी पॉलिसी पे कोई संबंध नहीं है। पॉलिसी है कि दूसरे देशों को कमजोर करो ताकि अमेरिका हमेशा ऊपर दिखे। दैट्स अ बेसिक पॉलिसी। और एक मैक्सिकन ऑथर ने बोला था, वी आर सो फार फ्रॉम गॉड एंड सो क्लोज टू अमेरिका। एंड इट वाज अ वेरी फेमस कोट, मैक्सिकन रेवोल्यूशन के समय का कोट है वो। एंड और आइजनहावर ने भी बोला, नॉट आइजनहावर, द एक फॉरेन सेक्रेटरी थे, उन्होंने बोला कि the enmity of America is dangerous, but friendship is fatal. और अमेरिका सभी डेमोक्रेसीज में खुल के इंटरवीन करता है। वेनेजुएला यू सॉ, मैक्सिको यू सी एवरी डे। चाहे कोई भी डेमोक्रेसी हो, डेमोक्रेसी तो दूसरों को एक्सपोर्ट की गई ताकि अमेरिका में ट्रू डेमोक्रेसी के बारे में रिपब्लिकन पार्टी खुद ही बोलती है, वी आर नॉट ए डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री। उनके खुद ही के पार्टीज बोलती हैं कि वी आर नॉट डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री, वी आर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रिपब्लिक, जो कि एरिस्टोटेलियन आइडिया है। Aristotle did not like the Athenian democracies, and therefore he said we are going
Yeah.
to have a constitutional democracy. So how long can India, क्योंकि इंडिया का पॉपुलेशन अगर आप देखें, and if you compare one man is equal to one man of all countries, then equality के basis पे देखें तो 1.4 billion people is more than Europe, North and South America combined.
True.
तो how can a country of this size ever try to be, बिकॉज अगर हम देखें तो अमेरिका डील कर रहा है यूरोप से, नॉर्थ अमेरिका से, साउथ अमेरिका से, भारत कंट्री में। हाउ कैन ए कंट्री ऑफ दिस साइज बी एट द मर्सी ऑफ ए मच स्मॉलर पावर इन टर्म्स ऑफ पॉपुलेशन?
No, no, it is not at the mercy. You see, if I understand American foreign policy, I've been a student of political science for a long time. For America, most important is American interest, not the interest of people.
एग्जैक्टली, और वो इंटरेस्ट किसी को
Now,
पता भी नहीं है।
yeah, so America, the the higher ups who understand the world, they have a global perspective, and they have been the leader of the unipolar world since the fall of the Soviet Empire in 1989 1990. Now they have tasted blood of being the sole superpower. China is beginning to challenge them. The biggest geopolitical intention of America as a country, as a state, is to prevent China's rise where it can displace the Americans. Okay? And to meet that goal, there is complete unison between Dems and the Republican, because that is the country's aim. How you deal with people, that's a very different issue. But the broader aim of America wanting to dominate the world and remain as number one, that is all pervasive, for doesn't matter who is in power. And this is what will tell you if you read the entire history of US till now, if you see the foreign policy. So I'm just talking from that point of view. In between, you will get danda. तुम्हारे यहाँ human right violation हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है, वो हो रहा है. It's okay. These things will happen. But that itself does not mean that you will get out of the ambit of this geopolitical alliance. You will not. The only way to prevent China from rising is to have India on your side. Even if it is human wall, it's only India which can prevent the Chinese ingress into West Asia or the South Asia. Nobody else can prevent it. So I would say what you're saying, fine. What you're saying is you have a point. But the larger point is that irrespective of who's in power, the American state wants to maintain its supremacy in the world. They have already made a mistake by making China what it is today. They don't want to repeat that mistake. Also, COVID has given them an opportunity. Shifting of supply chains, get the manufacturing. That is where the EU and Americans are at variance. Because EU thinks that they don't have manpower is not enough, there's a declining population, and they feel that they will not be able to move the manufacturing to their own countries and still imagine that they will dominate. They will not. That is where Germany, France, UK, they're all having trouble with the US, particularly Germany. Okay, but I'm sure all this Anglo-Saxon community they will sort out the problem. The French are quite independent. They're not Anglo-Saxons. Okay, they're all Franco-Romans, if you like. So I would say that I am a very optimist person, and I don't think that America's internal squabbles, it has got the sanction on Iran, sanction on Russia. They only remind you that it can attract sanction on you. They have said so. कुछ हुआ नहीं है ना. तो वो तो उनकी आदत है बीच बीच में तुमको डंडा मारने की. वो डंडा मारेंगे because they are looking at the world through the prism of being a superpower. India's world is limited. India is not a world power. India wants to protect territorial integrity and grow an economy for the well-being of 1.4 billion people. So this is the broader structure. It doesn't matter which party is in power in India. It really doesn't matter. That's my
No,
view.
I am personally against war of any types because even a soldier has a family. I'm very clear on that. I'm against any war, but at the same time, to prevent war, you have to be ready for the war.
You have to be powerful. You
You have
have
to
to
be powerful and strong, economically as well militarily.
absolutely. The,
Yudhishthir also prepared for war for 12 years and became an economically strong, and then he did.
absolutely, absolutely. You have to have enough power to deter the opponent from taking पंगा. तुम्हारे पास इतनी ताकत होगी 2 बार उसको सोचना पड़ेगा. अभी आके करेगा वो इंडियन ओशन में झगड़ा? नहीं करेगा. चाइना नहीं करेगा.
एक another point, and we have been talking for 1 hour. We didn't even realize we were talking for 1 hour. So that's a good flow with you all the time. So it is a tough question going to be क्योंकि from अगर आप अमेरिका की तरफ से देखते हैं from American point of view, Russia is the biggest military adversary, not China. From American point of view, because China military or Chinese Communist Party, they're very corrupt institutions, can be easily controlled with money, and half of their children are studying in America. So very good way to control them. रशिया के साथ ऐसा नहीं है. रशिया के लिए अमेरिका ने सब कुछ बाहर फेंक दिया, इंक्लूडिंग स्विफ्ट कोड ऑल्सो, बैंकिंग स्विफ्ट कोड ऑल्सो. They are not part of SWIFT system also. Or Russian economy today in Europe is the biggest economy, bigger than Germany today. And Russia is the तो और रशियन शिप्स अभी अमेरिका इंडिया में डॉक भी कर रहे हैं. माय पॉइंट इज दुनिया के सारे वॉर्स, पूरी दुनिया का पोलराइजेशन डन बाय द आइदर यूरोपियंस और अमेरिकन्स. दे आर शेपिंग द बैटलफील्ड. और आप बहुत अच्छी तरह जानते हैं कि वन हु शेप्स द बैटलफील्ड विंस द बैटल. विद battle shaping is so isn't it clear for all of us कि like we are pawns in their hands, we are reacting and their agencies are making us react in a certain way, and their agencies are also not helping us or letting us. Nobody is going to let you build a good navy. Nobody. If as a businessman, I will never let the another guy salesman to be stronger than my salesman. Not
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
Army navies are the salesmen of the nation. They protect the nation, plus they increase the economic well-being of the nation also. A strong military means strong economics also.
होना चाहिए.
ऐसा ही just see North Korea also. North Korea is just military, but they're surviving. Whatever media reports came out, they're hungry is all proved to be wrong now. एंड रशिया के साथ भी ऐसे ही हुआ. रशिया के पास कुछ नहीं था, बट सेनाएं बहुत स्ट्रांग है. So they come back again. So both relations are there. A strong economy leads to strong military, but second is also true. Strong military brings economic wealth also. So इस issue पे आप कैसे comment करते हैं कि why we have to fight their narratives all the time?
You have to fight to maintain your supremacy. As you rightly said, most of the wars have been created by the Western powers because because of the complex of Anglo-Saxon remaining on top. That's it. और कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. And whether they succeed or not, only time will tell. It's very difficult for us to, unless you have something in cytology. I have really no way to look into the future, but I think that the challenges are there. They are more now in our neighborhood, and navigating through this is going to be a very careful call that the foreign policy will have to be crafted. Though Mr. Modi today only said that we would like to continue doing whatever support we are giving to Bangladesh even now, and we are getting very similar feedback from the Mr. Yunus. He's an economist, so he knows what is good for him. Yeah, America may be paying him money, but America can't run his country for him. His country will be run by situation in India, situation around Myanmar, and
नहीं,
that can
उनके
only be
उनके
handled by India.
मोहम्मद यूनिस, how did he get Nobel Prize? Everybody knows now. वो classical story.
Americans know it.
Yeah. And the corruption allegations against him are so serious. He's a
Yeah, the
Lalu Prasad Yadav of Bangladesh.
State Department should have the answer. They always have the answer.
State Department is the क्या बोलेंगे, Americans also don't trust. वो वही चीज है ना कि like you are so close to, you are so far from God and so close to United States of America. That's the story.
But let me put a, if it is the last word, the last word is that in this given situation, India is surrounded with so many problems and yet exercising strategic autonomy. You must give hats off to the Indian establishment, and it will continue to do so.
Hats off, hats off. And I
Even
think
even in the coming days, no matter how much is the pressure, you will not find India buzzing from what is of its own national interest.
no, actually tomorrow we have very special guest coming. और उनका जो थ्योरी है इज सच अमेजिंग थ्योरी, एंड दर्शकों को मैं प्राइमर भी दे रहा हूँ. And like today, for today's show also, I spoke to the audience yesterday, and so it will be phenomenal that what India has done, and hats off to leaders like you. You're part of it. That
And
you are also
we
contributing
are
in
a
a
very
bit.
small cog in the wheel.
That's what it matters. One cog is what important, more important. Stability for the wheel. थैंक यू ऑल द व्यूअर्स. आपके क्वेश्चंस रेलेवेंट नहीं लग रहे हैं मुझे आज के टॉपिक पे. दैट्स व्हाई आई एम नॉट टेकिंग एनीबॉडीज क्वेश्चंस, बट थैंक यू फॉर पार्टिसिपेटिंग एंड स्टेइंग सो लॉन्ग फॉर द एंटायर शो. तो जरूर इसके शॉर्ट्स बनाइएगा, और हमारे बहुत सारे शॉर्ट्स आ जाएंगे इस वीडियो के, तो यू कैन कैप्चर द की मोमेंट्स इन दिस डिस्कशन. मैंने बहुत ही डीप क्वेश्चंस पूछे हैं, उन्होंने आंसर दिया है, और देयर आर मेनी थिंग्स. सिर्फ आईएनएस ब्रह्मपुत्र को ही मत देखिए, ब्रह्मपुत्र का नाम ही ब्रह्मपुत्र है. तो जस्ट लुक एट द लॉन्गर पिक्चर. और मेरा पर्सनल क्वेरीज बहुत रहता है बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स माई पर्सनल हॉबी. जैसे आप सबका हॉबी होगा, मेरा हॉबी है मिलिट्री वेयर्स को स्टडी करना, बस इतना ही हॉबी है. एंड दैट इज गोइंग ऑन सिंस 5 years, सिंस आई वाज 5 years. I can recognize any plane from looking at the belly of the plane. ये मेरा personal hobby है. And plane watcher, I was a plane watcher and I love planes. So thank you all very much. Or Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha ji is also a aviation expert. He's a naval aviation specialist. इनसे हम और बात करेंगे naval aviation पे in future and also the other issues which you have. Send me the topics you want to ask him next time. I would like to especially welcome these members who are there, and Sasiji has joined, so thank you all. And do become a member, do like, share, subscribe. Member banenge, then you have a lot of members only videos come on our channel. So, and playlist of Shekhar Sinaji is there, Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinaji. So please do subscribe to that playlist and you will see all his videos on Sattology here. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the show today. It's a
Well,
very
thank you
honor.
very much to my pranam, namaskar, good morning, good afternoon to everybody who's watching and seeing. Do kindly send your questions. My email address is there with Adiji. I'll be quite happy to take on those questions and try and answer to best of my knowledge. But till then, keep safe, be happy, and don't get into any trouble that I would not like to get in. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Jai Hind. Happy Independence Day to all.
Thank you very much.